It's Wednesday, that means it's Gronk Day. Monday, Tuesday, Gronk Day. Four-time Super Bowl champ Rob Gronkowski previewing the wild card matchups. We'll find out about the coaching vacancy in New England as well. We also have Broncos Pro Bowl receiver and punt returner Marvin Mims on the show. Maybe Marvin Mims, you've heard of him. He's got a little bit of a 1-2 punch battle going on with the Bills in Buffalo this Sunday. We'll preview that with him, get the ins and outs. Got a lot of Sean Payton questions for him. And we are getting round 14. Round 14 of Mike Evans v. Lattimore on Sunday night. You know I love that. Big show, Rob Gronkowski. We got some props with him, of course, we'll do. I think I'm kicking his butt. Hamilton will be here as well. I heard there's like 1925 footage entering the show. Marvin Mims is on the program. Everyone's sleeping on Denver. You know who wasn't? Darren Sproles yesterday saying if they can run the ball, they can get a win. This team maybe likes being the underdog. How is Marvin Mims embracing that? All of that is going on and more. I do want to say I'm here in LA. I woke up to smoke, to clouds, to it looking like it's 2 in the morning here at 9 a.m. In Southern California. I just want to say so grateful for first responders for the tireless work, for the unbelievable footage that we are seeing. It is a literal nightmare. It is crazy to see what is going on here, not just in the Palisades, but fires everywhere else. Just a big thank you to all the first responders, keeping people safe, keeping structures safe, keeping the communication safe. Everybody working so tirelessly throughout the night, whether it's in the media or, on Twitter, on social media, with all the information to help. And I just appreciate everybody checking in on each other as well. I think, we here as an Up and Adams family, we're in good communication on what was right, what felt good, how everybody's doing. And I think if you could continue that with anybody that you know around here, reaching out to people, seeing if they're okay, seeing if they need anything. And I appreciate anybody reaching out to me as well over the past 24 hours. Everything is okay. We have a big show, but we are, of course, sending and keeping our thoughts with everything going on here in SoCal this morning. We're going to get to football. We have Gronkowski on the show. I appreciate you guys, the messages too, on YouTube. And of course, thoughts and prayers to everybody impacted by what's going on. I was driving in, I saw a billboard. It said Chargers, it just said playoffs. It was Herbert, and I liked it. It was very simple to the point. It was Herbert with the football helmet on. You got that bolt, playoffs, baby. And that's what we've got coming up. If you look at the playoff schedule, we've got Chargers as the 2.5-point road faves at Houston. The Ravens, 9.5-point faves over the Steelers in the nightcap. Will we see more Justin Fields in that one? Gronk, 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 Gronk will fill us in on his thoughts. Then Sunday, Denver, 8.5-point underdogs at Buffalo. You will hear what Broncos receiver Marvin Mims has to say about that. Jalen Hurts still in concussion protocol. Word yesterday that he should be fine in time for that game against the Packers. Eagles 4.5-point faves there. And then we've got the Bucs favored by 3 against the Commanders on Sunday night. We're going to get to some underreactions. We're going to have some fun here on the show. Matthew Hamilton will be joining us momentarily. But, I'm very excited about all these games. I have the slate here somewhere. But I want to start with underreactions, and this is the one that I want to start with because we've not talked about what I love a battle. I love a rock'em sock'em. I don't like the David Goliath. I want 2 even Steven incredible forces meeting on the field. We have potential for a Mike Evans, Marshon Lattimore bout on Sunday night. Lattimore, he's only played 2 games since joining the Commanders in early November. Dan Quinn says yesterday, he used the word close. He said he's close. It sounds like there's a real chance that we get him back out there for this one. When Lattimore and that trade happened, this is what Hamilton and I dreamed about. It's like we went in the lab and cooked it up. I miss this. I love a shutdown corner. We have so few in the league right now that operate on this level. The chippiness, this has it all for me. We've got a perennial, look at that, a shove, a push, oh boy, here we go. Is it bad that I like this? Maybe this is WWE Raw, still like leaving the remnants here. I've got the vibes of that still. I love it. I've been waiting. Who's Marshon's next rival? Who's his guy in the NFC East? Is it A.J. Brown? It definitely delivered a couple of weeks ago. I loved seeing that. And A.J. Brown got the best of him. I'm so excited that we might see this thing come to fruition on such a huge stage. I don't know how the fights were scored by the judges, but on the actual scoreboard, Lattimore has held a slight edge. He's 7-6 against Evan in this matchup, holding Mike to under 15 yards in 5 of those. Evans did get the ones that matter most, though, so that matters. The 2020 divisional round, Marshon holds him, as you're seeing, to just 1 catch for 3 yards. But this grab, what is it? He's going to get all the way. Oh, there we go. He held him for that, but he did get a touchdown. The Bucs ended up winning the game. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Yeah, he scored. So, needless to say, they don't love each other. I'm sure they respect each other, but they don't like each other. And I like that. Unfinished business here. I hope Marshon's healthy. They're saying he's close. What does that mean? Sunday night, Tampa, a 3-point favorite as of this morning. Next up, we are underreacting. I know we got in the Lamar MVP discussion is full force everywhere, and even the Derrick Henry of it all. But I think we're underreacting to the fact that the Ravens have had the most dramatic mid-season turnaround I've ever seen on the defensive side of the ball. Ever. Underline, italicize, bold it, highlight it, whatever. Over the last 8 weeks, the Ravens have gone from the bottom 10 in pretty much every category to first, numero uno, not top 5, not top 3, no. They're leading the entire NFL in every freaking one. And it all stems from the improvement in the secondary, as you can see here. Voila, they were dead last in passing yards allowed, 26th in passer rating, and a few little tweakments from DC Zach Orr. That have really done their thing. Wow, there's a lot of puns that don't need to be made on this show right now. They moved Kyle Hamilton back to free safety, okay? First-round corner Nate Wiggins seeing the field a lot more, and he's been a total star. One of the lowest passer ratings of any DB in the league this year. How about Marlon Humphrey, just living his actual best life? He's played almost exclusively in the slot. Dominant year, career-high 6 picks. A pick 6, too. The addition of Trey White at the deadline gives them depth that they need. I like the move. Everyone knows I'm a big Trey White fan. And then it's like these revitalization, these oldies but goodies. Are they hanging out? Hamilton, I got to ask you. Maybe they're hanging out with Brian Johnson, Kyle Van Noyen.
Not the former Eagles offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson. There's another Brian Johnson.
There's a man who's interested.
I did not want to learn about yesterday, but you forced me to.
I learned. Yeah. I mean, I have the fact that we have such stark differences in what we subscribe to in our algorithms that
I get the Rizzler. You get a guy injecting himself in unspeakable places with things. Yeah.
In an effort to live forever and stay young, which that's Kyle Van Noy, Marlon Humphrey. I'm not accusing them of anything, but it's a compliment that they are clearly they're doing something to be having these seasons that they're having right now. I love it. You want to talk about peaking at the right time? By the way, it's happening in Baltimore. They're what faves over Pittsburgh? Crazy faves.
9.5 points right now.
No way.
Yep.
Are you sure? That is a little wild.
Oh, did that jump? Did that line jump this morning? What does it say on that topic bar right there?
Yeah.
9.5. Okay. Sorry. My screen got a little fuzzy. Yeah, 9.5 point favorites this morning.
Are you just are we at the portion of the program that you are monitoring the lines changing? Because I noticed that this morning.
Oh, I am. Yeah, there's been a little movement. The Vikings, the Rams have closed the gap a little. The Vikings still favored there, but that line's just 1.5 points. The Commanders, Bucs line has moved a little bit. It was 3.5. It's now 3 in favor of Tampa. So yeah, we're keeping a close eye on everything.
We are. People are monitoring like the Santa Ana wins. This is your Santa Ana wins. You are a sick pup. This is what you were born to do. Okay, and finally, we love the Lattimore, and we love Mike Evans. We love that. We love what's going on with the Ravens and Steelers in this bout, round 3 between the two of them. And but the last thing we're underreacting to, and they might not be playing this weekend, but the obsession just over the Super Bowl chase. We want to make sure that we're not underreacting to what the Lions have done this year. Okay. With the win over the Vikings that they just had, they're top 10. They're the 9th team in NFL history to win 15 games in a season. It gives them back-to-back division titles for the first time since 1954. Hamilton knew I was busy yesterday and I wouldn't push back, and he decided to do what he does best. Speaking of sick pups and doing what you were born to do, let's go to the tape.
All right, we unearthed some highlights of that NFL West
boy.
winning squad from 70 years ago, courtesy of the Detroit Historical Society. This is Bobby Lane to Jug Gerard for the touchdown. How about Leon Hart with this strip and score? He played defensive end and wide receiver for that team. How about that, Travis
He won me a fantasy
Hunter?
league back in 1955. Oh, what is this?
Before Creed and Shabuzi, we had pilgrims dancing in a circle for Thanksgiving halftime shows. Here we have Dorn Dibble hauling in a touchdown in the snow, and we're going to end this thing with Bobby Lane tossing to Hunchy Hornschmeyer, and who throws it to Doak Walker. Yes, that Doak Walker for the score. Before Ben Johnson, there was Buddy Parker dialing up this stuff. It's like that 1954 team was reincarnated here. And I know anything short of a Super Bowl would be a major disappointment for Lions fans, but you have to take a second to appreciate just how special and historic this season is that we're going back to that.
We're not going to just blow past what we just saw, and like you're going to say some like cute, eloquent haiku about how amazing the season has been contextually. Hunchy Hunchmeyer? What is his name?
Hunchy Hornschmeyer.
That's not a name.
Yeah. These are all real people. I swear
absolutely made that up. I want to look
Jug Gerard. Yeah. You're looking up Hunchy Hornschmeyer?
I mean, Cam Bynum should recreate that dance.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I don't know if you is it Pilgrims?
Next Thanksgiving, we needed that.
Like, okay, I don't even know what were they?
We're not allowed to say.
I never
they're
know
dressed
anything.
as pilgrims. Yeah.
How do you did you fact check that? Did we get? This is the golden.
I mean,
this is 1954 is when the golden age of television began. I Love Lucy. The Honeymooners, The Twilight Zone. World Series was broadcast in color for the first time. That's back in a world where the NFL wasn't ahead of anything, you know? MLB got one over on the NFL? Nope. Bizarro world. Let's see. I don't know anything else I know. None of these things are familiar to me. The first mass vaccination of children against polio began in Pittsburgh.
There you go.
Yeah. That's what I want to talk about here on the program today. The control room is losing
that
their
and Hunchy
actual
Hornschmeyer.
I mean, everything you're saying is totally right. And as for the Super Bowl run, Dan Campbell announced that he does expect. Does this sound insane? Is this true? Are you lying to me? David Montgomery might be back for the divisional round. And then, of course, Aiden Hutchinson running under the water. He's just jonesing to come back. I don't know about Dorn Dibble, though. I don't know if he'll be back for the action. Rest in peace. That's not funny.
Well,
that's not funny to make jokes about someone who passed away. It's not funny. You also like littered my full screen stuff with fire puns. Hamilton today. Great job, Hammy. The Lions are still these Super Bowl faves at plus 320, by the way, over on FanDuel Sportsbook. This is where you should go have some fun. Hunchmeyer, do you have a hunch? Go over there, followed by the Chiefs at plus 370. The Ravens jump the Bills at plus 550. Ravens jump the Bills. Buffalo fourth at plus 600. Any thoughts on that, the Ravens jumping the Bills, Ham?
Yeah, I do think it has a little something to do with that defense. Well, they've been playing, as you mentioned, it's just the Ravens are building that momentum at the right time. And you look at the way they're playing right now. I think it's more about them than it is about anything, any doubt about the Bills.
Betty Crocker's Good and Easy Cookbook was a bestseller in 1954.
There you go.
More fact, you're not going to get that on, I don't even know what other show's on right now. Just on our show. We'll be back. You're not going to get Gronk anywhere. Rob Gronkowski is on the program. There he is. The Christmas tree is still there, and that is why we love a Gronk. We love a Gronk for another Christmas tree.
It'll be there till June.
It's been up since 1954. Hi, Ham. Ham, what are the chances I literally drive to Aspen or something today?
Oh God.
Pretty good. I was telling Richard the story of when I picked up and drove to Chicago during COVID. Having driven all of 30 miles in my entire lifetime was I'm gonna walk from Financial District to Hoboken. Walk. not Hoboken, to Williamsburg, sorry. Rent a car, drive it back into the city, load it up, and drive in one shot to Chicago. Like, what was I thinking?
You driving
Anywhere, I know.
Anywhere is terrifying. Yeah. Just
like,
being on the phone with you while you're driving is terrifying.
Why?
For me. Yeah. Oh, be
honest. What is it like? What do you mean?
The road rage, the honking.
The honking.
You know,
I'm
constant honking.
I'm gonna let you effing know that you just took your gloves off and metaphorically slapped it across my face by cutting it off. I'm gonna let you know.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to thank I forget the officer's name in Laguna Beach this morning.
John Gerard.
Just saying hi. Just want to make sure I was okay. I appreciate that. Ma'am, you're swerving lanes a little bit. You good? You okay this morning? Do you have anything to drink? No, sir. I'm just literally a terrible driver.
That's how you know it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm not good. I'm not a good driver. I've gotten better.
Horrifying.
That's why I told you. Literally.
Yeah. It's a good point, Richard.
I'm magnetic. That's what I think.
There's always a way to spin it. Yeah.
Thanks for not caring about my well-being, by the way.
I mean,
yeah, I really appreciate
you
that.
You text at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciate that.
Well,
I had to text Hamilton. Let's really think about that for 5 seconds.
We'll get into this later.
I'm excited to talk
that
about
call yesterday. Yeah.
1954. What call?
You got the Baltimore Ravens and you got the Pittsburgh Steelers that will be going to the playoffs. The Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals will be in the mix. They will be fighting, but they will not make it.
My next guest, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer, host of the Dudes on Dudes podcast. And you can see him killing it on Fox NFL Sunday, towering over everyone else. Gronk, how are you? And how's that Christmas tree in the corner? Just bringing the spirit we all need here on a Wednesday.
I'm doing good, Kay. Thank you. Happy New Year as well. And that Christmas tree is looking pretty over there in the corner. It's about time that I probably take it down, but I'm going to probably leave it up there for about another week or two.
Did you ever have ornaments on the Christmas tree and you took those off and left the bare tree, or was that like literally how it was the whole time?
Actually, there's one ornament on the tree. Let me grab it real quick and show you.
Let's
All
see.
right, here I am. I'm back, and it's Ralphie, obviously.
So cute.
You only need one ornament when it's Ralphie on the tree.
That's it. You could never even, I can't imagine what else could be on that tree. Just that, I love that. It's January 8th. When do we stop saying Happy New Year?
Well, this is my first time on the show this year, so that's why I wanted to say Happy New Year. Last time I was on December 31st, so that's why I wanted to say it.
So if you see Julian Edelman, if you don't see him again, or you like run into Kyle Van Noy and it's January 20th, will you say Happy New Year?
No.
Yeah.
Time has passed by then. But
it's
with
like
Julian,
a little bit about a week.
Yeah, about a week or two. And today's the last day, I would say. Today's January 8th, a day after a week. It's the first time I'm seeing you. And I'm seeing you on a regular basis, but I haven't seen you yet this year. So that's why this one counted. But after today, no more.
I get that. I just want to know your opinion because it's a hot topic out in the streets, Rob. You texted Julian Happy New Year?
Yes, I did.
Gronk, that is so sweet.
Well, because he texted me telling me how good of a job I did. Being a co-host on the Dick Clark New Year's show with Ryan Seacrest. So I just wrote back to him, Happy New Year's, Jules. You're the best. You're the best co-host I could have with Dudes on Dudes.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Everybody can download Dudes on Dudes. Amazing, amazing podcast. Very fun to hear all the stories. Some of them are a little rated R.
Yeah, some are. We got some that are PG, some rated R. We're all over the place, just like Julian and I. We're all over the place in our life, so you don't know what you're gonna get.
Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about what we led with. I know that's you didn't get your blocking highlight reel. You didn't get your funny, nutty, zany Gronk reel. We gave you what you're looking for. You nailed the AFC North back after Week 1. We're going to have you pick all the games for Wild Card Weekend. Are you feeling very confident this morning?
All right. No, I'm not feeling, too confident this morning, but I'm ready for it,
Okay.
Let's hear the matchup, and I'll give you my pick.
We will do that. Before we get to that, I want to get your thoughts on some of this coaching news, obviously. You knew this was coming. Gerard Mayo, you didn't know this was coming. You knew I was going to ask you about it. I had Devin McCourty on. He was like, this isn't going to happen. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. He's out. He's out. What gives?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, Kay. I mean, I was very surprised at that moment. I mean, I believe that it was kind of unfair to him because he took on a depleted roster. They were going to need time to develop, to get back to the winning ways and build that culture. And you can't really judge Coach Mayo on just 1 year as well, especially with where the organization was when he took it over. So that's why it was, a tough situation for him. And you got to at least give him, 1 more year to see, how he develops as a coach as well over just his first season, to learn from his mistakes and all that, all that other stuff that comes with coaching. But obviously, Mr. Kraft kind of saw that, he must have seen that he wasn't the guy to build that culture around to get back to the winning ways. And I would say this is where it tanked, is after they beat the Chicago Bears, they went on like a 10-game losing streak, and then they started getting blown out, losing by, 3 touchdowns, not even competing in the games. And that's when I feel like it gave that bad taste in Mr. Kraft's mouth that, Coach Gerard wasn't the guy, because they were just tanking mid to end of the season. And Kraft doesn't want to see that. He wanted to see the team competing. He wanted to see them, in the fourth quarter at the end, possibly there to win the game. But instead, they were getting blown out. And that's when I think that made that,
Do you think they weren't fighting for him when you're watching these fourth quarter games? Because the truth is, my question for Mr. Kraft, and you know him dearly, is just what was the expectation? Because the over-under, I looked at FanDuel Sportsbook this morning, it was 4.5. They won 4 games. Like I feel like 4-ish, 4 to 5, 4 to 6 wins were what was expected with this roster. So what wasn't Gerard doing? Like, do you feel like he lost the locker room? Like, what happened?
Well, that's why I exactly said it was kind of unfair to him, because the expectations, taking over that roster, taking over that organization at that time were very, very low. I don't care what coach you had there, what you would have had there this year. They would have only won 4, 5, 6 games maximum, potentially. So that's why I'm saying, like, Gerard should have gotten a second chance, going into the second year. And that's why I'm surprised by the firing. So with that being said, that's why, it's a tough call. But like I said, for Mr. Kraft, he had to see that Coach Mayo wasn't the guy to build a culture on. Because like I said, during that 10-game losing streak, they were declining as a program. And Mr. Kraft wants to see the program on an incline, not a decline.
I would almost think like you'd have to have a better option. Like, you're not breaking up with somebody that, you didn't have the highest expectations for. You knew that you know them well. Like, Gerard Mayo is not like a new guy. They have relationships with this person. So it's almost like, do they think that there's something better? Like, that's why you sometimes would break up with somebody, right? Like, we think we can do better. We see, like, oh, like, he's hot, I want him instead. Like, that kind of a thing, right? Does that exist? Is that Mike Vrabel, who does have, I believe, an interview tomorrow, according to Rap Sheet?
Yeah, I feel like you hit it spot on. I mean, Mr. Kraft has to think that there's something else out there that's better for the organization, or else he would have never fired Coach Gerard Mayo. And he said it was one of the toughest firings he ever had to do, one of the toughest situations, because everyone loves Gerard Mayo. The players loved him. No one ever had anything bad to say about him. Everyone in the organization loved Gerard Mayo as a person. So it's very tough to, to fire someone when you just truly like them and love them as a person as well. But obviously, at the coaching point, you're trying to win as an organization. And you're trying to get the best coach in there to do that and get the wins and get back to the playoffs as a team. So Mr. Kraft must feel like there's a better option out there, like a guy like Coach Mike Vrabel, who's a proven coach, who's been, with the Tennessee Titans and did a great job there. Look at offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. He's a hot candidate as well, right right now. What he's doing with the Detroit Lions and that offense is spectacular. They're breaking records and doing things that you've never seen before with trick plays and using guys, the way that he's been using them to get open and all that good stuff. So he's a hot candidate. If they get one of those two guys, Mike Vrabel or offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, I feel like the Crafts will be happy with one of those two. And then also the New England Patriot fans would be happy as well if they get one of those two.
I think everybody wants those two, right? So now we've got this interesting, it never ends, new dynamic, same characters, where Antonio Pierce is fired, right? He has his first full season as the head guy for the Raiders. Davis says, I'm done. I want to level up too. I see the hot little thing at the bar. I want to, I want to level up. Shefty said that yesterday. Tom Brady is part of the committee to interview candidates and to sort of support Mark Davis. So now we got Brady and Kraft fighting over who can attract the best head coach. Who wins that bout? It's actually freaking crazy.
I'm always in the best position to just sit back, relax,
it's so true.
And just see it all and speculate everything going on. That's how it was when I was with the New England Patriots. I just sat back, just relaxed. I did my thing. I did my job. And then I just let everyone fight over who's calling the plays, who's making the roster decisions. And I just always knew I was safe because I was doing my thing out on the field. But it's the same situation here. We got Tom Brady, who I think should be involved with the Las Vegas Raiders and the coaching staff. I mean, because he's part owner now. And if you're going to be part owner, you got to be involved in that. You got to do your duties and you got to do your job. And Tom Brady was with with the best coach of all time for however long with the New England Patriots and Coach Belichick. So Tom knows what it takes, to be a good coach. He knows what it takes, to put the effort in and the time in to get the results that you want. And Tom's going to go out there and he's going to find that coach. And he knows good coaches. I've been around him for so long. I've talked to him so long about coaches and the way that Tom coaches players out on the field. He knows how to get the job done. And he's going to go out there and help Mark Davis go and get the right coach for the Raiders.
It's my favorite. I want him to have sole ownership of that responsibility because I find it so just from like a psychological experiment. Like you have Tom, let's say it's his job to pick or to bring in the new coach. Like what does Tom think is the right coach? Because there's this you're 1 of 53, you're not special, Belichick thing that he admits is what got him to be so great. And then there's this idea of having to coach now and does Brady want to give the younger generation something that they can, it's a different, what is important for Tom? What kind of a coach is he bringing in?
Well, I feel like Tom's going to want an offensive-minded coach.
Okay.
I mean, he loves defense. He knows, defense wins championships and all. But with Tom being a quarterback, the greatest of all time, he wants an offensive-minded coach. I think Tom will enjoy the process more, being able to talk to an offensive-minded coach as well to give his opinion on what the offense needs to do and all that good stuff.
So Tom Brady's going to be down there with the coach figure. There's no way he's not, right? His paws are going to be all over this.
I feel like, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that he will be in the mix and his paws, like you said, will be in it and he'll be giving his 2 cents and they'll be listening to his 2 cents as well.
But does he want a toughie or does he want to, and I guess the toughie in this class is Vrabel, which is not an offensive-minded guy, or do you want a offensive, how about this? If you knowing Tom Brady, because you just said you guys have talked about coaches, you've been around him so much. What are the 3 most important qualities in a coach if you're Tom Brady as the CEO hiring?
I mean, I'm just coming up with it. I mean, I'm not 100% sure what he's looking for, but I'll give the best. I would say if I had to pick and choose, what Tom's looking for in a coach, first off, I would say the love of the game. Is he going to be there, the whole entire day, breaking down film, breaking down players, all that good stuff? Does he love the game of football enough to be there, every single day and put his best effort in? Yeah. And then number 2 would be the knowledge, of the game. Does the head coach, know the game of football inside and out, the situational football, special teams, defense, offense, all that good stuff. And then number 3, does the head coach gain respect, from the players, because if you don't have respect from your players, then no one's going to listen, and then the organization and the guys are just going to do whatever they want, and you don't have control. So gaining respect is number 3 for sure, and maybe number 1 actually on the list.
Ben Johnson and Joe Brady are like the top offensive-minded guys, so maybe he'll look in the direction of one of those, and I would imagine it'd be very attractive for a candidate to say, like, oh, I could even just, like, have an open-door policy potentially to, like, get in, you know, his opinion or to be around him. That would be really cool. What's the red flag? Last one on this, and we'll move on. Like, if you were to, like, you know, you have a coach, you're Joe Brady's going in for the interview. You guys are boys. And it's like, what shouldn't I do? Give me advice. Like, what's the red flag for Tom Brady? What would turn him off?
Oh, what's the red flag? Oh,
like what would he not like?
Oh, what would he not like? Dang, that's a good question right there. Oh, okay, you stumping me right now.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't have a red flag.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd go with an older, like a? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess Pete Carroll wants to coach, like, all of that. Somebody who's tenured, like, experience. It sounds like experience doesn't matter as much. I know it's not a red flag, though.
No, experience doesn't matter as much. It can be a young buck. I mean, I'm not going to go with a guy. Yeah, a red flag would be, you know, no experience at all. You know, in the coaching world. I mean, taking an offensive coordinator that's been an offensive coordinator for 10 years but never been a head coach, that's fine. But just kind of just taking a guy, you know, off the street that's a position coach and putting him as head coach right away, that's a red flag right there. He's going to need experience of at least in the NFL as an offensive coordinator or head coach of, you know, at least a good solid, you know, 5 to 10 years, but also shown that they have had success as well.
I just like the idea of Mr. Kraft making an offer to somebody and then Tom Brady making an offer to somebody and then sort of fighting while you sit back and talk about it on Dudes with Julian Edelman. You guys could download that and listen to it at all times and anywhere. Let's dig into Wild Card Weekend. The Steelers heading to Baltimore. This isn't going to stump you. I'm sure you've got so many opinions, so much history between the two squads, of course. Hello.
Sorry about that.
No problem. 4-game losing streak for the Steelers. Oh.
All right, here we go. I'm back, Kay. Sorry about that.
All good. The offense has been not great, kind of stagnant. You and I have talked about Pickens. We've talked about a lot of things. So Tomlin was asked about using Justin Fields a little more. I like the idea, right? Get him in there, make a spark. Here's what he said.
I'm certainly open to utilizing Justin. He has an awesome skill set. We've done some of that in the past. We've done less of it in recent weeks. He experienced an injury or so a couple of weeks back that slowed some of that. But certainly in an effort to win this game, I am open to any combination or combinations of the division of labor in an effort to do so. And so I'm certainly open to that as we develop plans this week.
Is this the answer for the Steelers, more Justin Fields?
It could be the answer. There's no doubt about it. And if Mike Tomlin feels like if Justin Fields can go in there in a couple packages and help out the team, well, then that's what you're going to do because it's playoff time. When it comes down to playoffs, you're going to do anything you can possibly do in that game that you're playing right there and then and now to win the game. Because if you lose, you go home. So you're going to throw your best that you got right out there out in the field, no matter what it is and how deep you dig into the roster. And plus, Kay, I'm truly not that big of a betting man, and I don't tell people, you know, when to make bets. But like you said, on FanDuel, the Baltimore Ravens are favored by 9.5 points.
Biggest underdog. The Steelers are the biggest underdog of the weekend.
Yeah, so anyone that loves to bet, put your money on the Steelers. It's the best rivalry in football. I'm not saying who's going to win, but these games are usually decided by 7 points within 7 points every time they face each other. The Steelers are healthy. Zay Flowers will most likely be out. It will be a surprise if he's back. I mean, I think he tore like his LCL or something. You can't come back in a week. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to come back from that. I mean, it's the best matchup the struggling Steelers could get, you know, and hope for the first round in the playoffs as well, because they match very well versus the Baltimore Ravens. They know them like back of their hand, and it's Lamar's kryptonite is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So put your money on the Steelers.
If you lose 4 games in a row, how do you win the next one? Like, Does momentum? Why have I been taught my entire life in the NFL that momentum matters? Which team is your Buccaneers freaking Super Bowl team that wins 7 in a row? But so you're saying it's just the matchup. I know you believe in the coaching too, but it kind of doesn't matter.
Well, this could get them out of that funk, out of that, out of that mojo of that losing streak right now is versus the Baltimore Ravens. And they know them like back of their hand. So this is a great matchup for them. And like Mike Tomlin said as well, when you're in that funk and you really can't get out of it, you got to open up your mind and you got to expand your mind on more ideas. And bringing Justin Fields in can give them that spark, can give them that momentum. And that's exactly what you got to do is open up that playbook and see what you got on that roster as well.
Amazing. We're going to go through more wild card matchups. So you're saying you don't want to tell anybody who to bet, but wink, wink, Steelers could pull a beautiful upset on wild card weekend.
Bet the Steelers 9.5.
Yeah, crazy.
I believe that's going to hit.
Yeah, of course. Love that. Okay, let's continue here. Commanders and Bucs, Sunday night. Your Bucs are getting, on wild card weekend, the prime time NBC treatment. I love that. Mike Evans, Marshon Lattimore. Now, you know this matchup because you had a front row seat for it in the 2020 divisional round. Lattimore shuts down Mike Evans, which is hard to do. Dan Quinn has said that Lattimore's close to coming back. So it looks like we'll get it. Who do you think wins the best of who in this matchup?
I'm going with Mike Evans. I mean, he's my guy. He just got the 1,000 yards last week. He's riding high. The momentum's building up. Baker Mayfield wants to feed him as well. In order for the Buccaneers to win as well, Mike Evans is going to have to step it up every single game in the playoffs. Lattimore, like you said, is coming off an injury, so he might be a little bit rusty. It's not like he's a young buck coming off an injury where you're always ready to go. So he could be a little rusty in this case. So I'm going with Mike Evans. I mean, Mike's a dog, and he wants to win. Baker wants to win. Mike wants to win. The Tampa Bay organization, they want to win. So I'm going with Evans.
What's going on in Mike's head? I feel like Lattimore shows a side of him that we don't really see. Like when you're watching that footage, even from that game, what's going through Mike's head?
I'm not Mike, so I really can't tell you exactly.
Great answer.
Mike Evans is that is a great answer. Mike Evans is a competitor. I know that. And when someone gets in his head, when I saw that and starts talking garbage, Evans picks it up to another notch. Yeah. And that's why this rivalry between these two players is great to watch as just a football fan as well, because as a football fan, you want to see emotions get loose. You want to see emotions fly because it brings the best out of a player. It brought the best out of me when someone was talking garbage and my emotions just started to fly. So this is going to be a good matchup. And Mike Evans wants to win it as well, especially if Lattimore comes out there talking garbage and smack right from the beginning.
There's a great prop at 76.5 for Mike Evans in receiving yards. I'd probably say over in that, even though he was locked up. But that was a long time ago, different stakes. The injury is going to play as well. Who wins this game?
I'm going with the Tampa Bay Bucs. It's home. I'm pretty sure the Bucs already want the Washington Commanders this year as well. Am I correct? With that, I think they beat them earlier this season.
I believe
pretty
so.
bad as well.
To kick off the season, I think.
It was the first game of the season. Wow. And so the Buccaneers beat them the first game of the season, and now they're going to send them home as well on the last game of the season for the Washington Commanders.
You were the last wild card team to win the Super Bowl. Only 7 have done it. That's kind of wild.
Really?
Yeah.
We were the last ones? I mean, I know the New York Giants did it in 2007 versus the New England Patriots, undefeated. That is pretty wild. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, usually the best teams in football usually win, but every once in a while, a wild card team can pick it up and put the pieces together and knock out the other guys. But
my favorite thing is that you don't. It sounds like it's not hard. You're like, really? Like.
Well, because we had a special team. We just didn't put it together until the end. I mean, we had so many good players, and we just had to, gel together, and it just ended up happening towards the end of the season when we really gelled together. But this year, I don't think that it's going to happen. I think the teams at the top are just too good with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills, and Detroit Lions. I don't think a wild card team is going to win it all this year, but I think a wild card team could do some damage and knock off, maybe a top team. But overall, I think the top teams are just too good this year, and they're playing too well and they're too consistent.
Let's go to Prop a Shot and bring up our guy, Matthew Hamilton. Join us. Tell us where we're standing, buddy. Oh, do we have
3K? You went
go.
1 for 3.
Okay, great.
So your lead is down to 3 points. It's a one-possession game. Gronk could tie this thing up this weekend.
Okay, this went Shanahan 28-3 real quick. This is like, it might have taken longer than a halftime in Lady Gaga, but holy moly, you are here.
I'm coming back. I told you, Kay. It's not over till it's over. And playoffs is when I really pick it up.
That's so true.
Regular season's like, ooh, whatever. I'm like the Kansas City Chiefs. Playoffs hit, boom.
Let's go.
Full gear.
I don't like it. All right, what do we got?
All right. So, Kay, we're going to start with you since you complained last week about Gronk going first. Ladd McConkey's line for receiving yards against the Texans is set at 72.5. Does he go over or under that?
He's gone over that number like every game of his life wearing a Chargers uniform. He's unbelievable. He's at least done it in 6 of the last 7 games. He's averaging just under 100 yards a game over that span. He's going to have a big playoff debut, and he might be the guy that gets this team deep into the playoffs, which is crazy as a rookie.
All right, Gronk, on the other side in that game, Joe Mixon's line for rushing yards is 71.5. Do you think he hits that?
I think he's going to hit it. Joe Mixon, he's going to turn it up. He hasn't been, in the playoffs in a while, so he's excited to go.
All right, let's move to Ravens-Steelers. Kay, Derrick Henry's line for rushing yards is 98.5. Does he go over or under that?
Oh, why are you that? Do you want to raise or something? What's happening? You're giving me a little layup today? How cute. How sweet of you. Of course, over. He's put up 162 in his last game against Pittsburgh. He's averaging 149 a game over the last 3 on the ground. The Ravens, you literally acquired him for this. Use him. Feed him.
All right, Gronk, Mark Andrews' line for receiving yards, 44.5 for this one. Do you think he goes over that?
I think he's going to go over. This is a game where tight ends are going to be used a lot on both sides of the ball with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens. 2 tight end sets, big time. Mark Andrews going over.
That's a pretty easy one for him, too, there, Ham. All right, I see you.
Well, you got an easy one, Kay. So
I did.
We got to even things out.
All right.
Kay, I want you to pick one anytime touchdown scorer for Chargers-Texans.
Oh, man. Quentin Johnson has to have a huge game, but do I think he scores first? I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins here. He's healthy. He's a touchdown scorer. He's got 5 in the last 6 games. He gets another one on this game Saturday. Yes, on Saturday.
All right, Gronk, one anytime touchdown scorer for Steelers-Ravens.
I mean, Hamilton, man, you're giving me a layup right now. Honestly, I'm going with Derrick Henry. If he doesn't score, I'll be the most surprised one out there. But he's absolutely dominated the Steelers 2 times this year. Derrick Henry has to score. They love handing it to him.
All right, so let's recap here. I'm taking Ladd McConkey to go over 72.5 yards receiving, Derrick Henry to go over 98.5 yards rushing, and I'm going J.K. Dobbins to get in the end zone anytime against the Texans. That's Saturday. Gronk's got Joe Mixon over 71.5 yards rushing, Mark Andrews over 44.5 yards receiving, and then Derrick Henry to score a touchdown, which is going to happen. I'm getting very nervous about prop-off here, but in honor of the 5 wonderful straight days of football, you've seen the ad starring Rob Gronkowski, cameo by me and a couple of New York quarterbacks. We have so much fun going on. We got college football playoffs, NFL playoffs. FanDuel has you covered. Go to FanDuel Sportsbook all weekend long. You can claim a no-sweat, same-game parlay every single day. This is so great and so fun. And hey, if you're a new customer, if you haven't dabbled and you should, if you just put $5 on whatever, bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. There you have it, 5 straight days of football. Gronk, I'm sure we'll see you soon. And yeah, Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year, Kay. It's the last day to say it, so tell
last
everyone.
Day to say it. Stay safe wherever you are. Lots going on here in California. I know you're sending your love to everybody here dealing with the fires, and we will be back after this to talk to Marvin Mims of the Denver Broncos, who's going to be facing the Bills in Buffalo and Wild Card Weekend. We'll be back. I would love, like, I don't have, like, interrupt with so strange. No problem. I just want to, I know you're saying good stuff. I could never remember the fact that anybody would, like that you guys are such, what it would take me to remember that it was Commanders Bucs week 1. I'm trying to think of what happened in that game.
Bucs got a big lead early, and then Commanders got some stuff going late.
But I remember it being like what was Caleb's first game? I'm thinking just Jaden v. Caleb. When I'm thinking of that game, I'm thinking why Caleb goes into my head.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, Titans. That was that messy game against the Titans where they had all the special team stuff. Yeah. Yep. And pulled off the win.
Yes. Yes. You see Cortland retweeted our thing?
I did. That was cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's how I knew you were okay. You sent me that.
What were you going to say about some phone call?
What's
you were
that?
Like, we'll talk about this phone call later or something. What you were saying?
Oh, no. I was saying we'll talk about checking in on people and all that later. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. What happened? Something happened to you?
No. Nothing. No.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Guys, these fires.
I can say it. Richard says I'm a lot. Yeah. No, just during the marketing meeting yesterday.
What did I do? What did I do in the marketing meeting?
Richard's like, my kids have to evacuate their school in Brentwood because they're like, ooh, Brentwood fans.
And that was the wrong thing to say. Hey, Richard, why doesn't Richard get on the microphone and say what he's going. Okay, Hamilton, you absolute insufferable jerk who didn't check on his friend who sent him to the World Series.
Oh boy!
Did you hear that?
I'm glad your David Byrne
the friend that
okay.
sent him to the World Series. I'm sorry, it's the smog. Oh
boy.
Excuse me, how do I introduce you even? Playoff bound? Big play threat for the Denver Broncos? Or should I just do the casual second Bronco ever to make the Pro Bowl in each of his first 2 seasons? How about that, Marvin? I've been watching you. You got Pro Bowls. You're making a run at the Lombardi. Big play threat. I think we might need to submit a sizzle reel or something for an Oscar.
Yeah.
For your acting job. Can you talk to me about this? Lulling the defense to sleep on the first touchdown on Sunday. Take me through that.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Coach Payton is whenever he coaches plays, they need to be exactly how he wants them. So he's telling me the whole time, hey, make sure you look uninterested, just kind of jog over there, blah, blah, blah. And then I think I count to 2 or 3 seconds. And then by the time I turn around and pop back, Bo should be ready to throw the ball. And basically from there, just kind of follow my box, hope it's clean.
I mean, I have to be honest, it felt over after that. It felt like the stadium was able to sort of go, and I was not surprised. You guys just piled it on after there. I was not surprised at all. Were you?
No, not surprised at all. I knew we just needed to start fast. And then once we had our rhythm, that we get it going, especially with Kansas City not playing their main guys. Kind of made it easier for us, but at the same time, we didn't want to go in kind of just oh, we got this. So just the fast start was a relieving feeling for everybody.
Fast start, was that something you guys harped on through the week? If there was a poster made of what Coach Payton's message to y'all was going into this one, what's that slogan?
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly his main message was just get to 10 wins. He knew if we got to 10 wins, even from the middle of the season, that we have a good chance to make the playoffs. And so especially this game, being our last game, we win, we get in, everybody kind of knew what the mentality was going into it.
Why are you one of the hottest receivers in the NFL right now? What would you, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games. The 6 touchdowns you have all come in the last 7 weeks. What's going on there?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of mainly just coaching, and with the coaching, just kind of knowing who we have on offense and what the best things they can do is. And then also it's just Bo getting better and better each week. I mean, that's been a huge thing for us, just him coming along, getting better. And, when he has his best games, everyone else has their best games too. So I think that's a huge thing. And then just the receiver room, whenever we get the ball in our hands, we try to make a play as much as possible. I like to make the job easier on Bo, being a rookie back there is all I think about. So I think that's been the biggest thing, just emphasizing big plays, taking care of the ball when we have it and just getting positive yards.
Talk to me about like Bo in the locker room, or talk to me about him like walking in and out of the facility, or whatever time you might spend with him outside. What have you noticed as far as his comfortability, or like what stands out in the part that I don't get to see on Sunday?
Yeah, I'd say like the main thing that stood out to me, like even when he got to Denver in his first couple of weeks, just how, confident he is and how like comfortable he kind of comes off in the huddle and when he's back there. And, the thing that's grown the past couple of weeks is just like how technical he is about everybody's routes, and when you're a rookie and you're like first get into it, I feel like you're just kind of like letting everything come to you. Like he's taking it as he sees it. Now that we're in the second half of the season, like he kind of knows the plays, he kind of seen certain looks and defenses. And so now he's like, hey, if you get this look, try and do this and look for that. So I think that's a huge step he's taken as the season's gone along. And it kind of just shows how comfortable he's gotten.
I was I was catching up with Darren Sproles earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Legend, obviously played in the Sean Payton offense, had like an insane season, 2011, all that. And I've heard Coach talk about the Colston stuff, and he's like, the implementation or the 50 Shades of Sane stuff going on. I want you to be honest. How much Devery Henderson and Ted Ginn Jr. have you watched?
Yeah, a lot, honestly, even like Darren Sproles, because my family is originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Got it.
So like when I was a little kid, like growing up, huge Saints fan. Yeah, like huge Saints fan. So I think I was born in Dallas. So like later on when I get a teenager, I was a Dallas fan. But when I was little, like that's all we used to do was watch the Saints. So like even to like be drafted by Sean Payton, kind of knowing, seeing them, watch them and stuff, like it's crazy. It's a full circle moment. And then whenever we watch film and all that stuff, and like seeing Ted Ginn, Devery Henderson, and Darren Sproles, like it's pretty cool. Like, being kind of in their footsteps, seeing how they did it, back in the day, and kind of rerunning those same plays.
I mean, you're averaging 15.7 yards per punt return this year. You must know the last time somebody did that in a season when they had at least 25 returns, right?
Honestly, no.
Oh, let me tell you, my friend. It was 14 years ago. Devin Hester and Patrick Peterson. You have the 8th best. I'm looking at this graphic right here. You have the 8th best average in the entire Super Bowl era. What does that mean to you?
No, honestly, I didn't even know, like, it's been 14 years since someone's gotten numbers that high, but, now I do. That's pretty cool.
Devin Hester, man!
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially to be, Hall of Famer, easily the best returner in the history of football. So that's good numbers. Hopefully I can keep it up as the years go along. But, that's great company to be in.
There's nothing more Looney Tunes than going out there and returning a punt.
Once you get back there, you kind of feel it out. It takes a while, though. Like, I've been doing punt returns since, like, high school probably.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a feel thing.
You have a big game this week. You're in the playoffs. There's a lot of people who were like, well, one and done. They got in, like, good experience. Very cool. How are you approaching what is going? It's going to be a tough one in Buffalo.
For sure. It's going to be a really hard game. Josh Allen, he's arguably an MVP candidate this year. Obviously can win the award. And then just playing kind of in Buffalo. You know how Bills Mafia gets in the playoffs. So it's going to be a tough one. Whether it's going to be cold, it's going to be a perfect playoff game, honestly. But we talk about all the time, we've been the underdog all year, coming from preseason to now, and just steady in that role. And we like where we are. And, we have a utmost faith in ourselves.
Do you prefer being the underdog?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nick Bonito might have a thing or two to say about Josh Allen this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
How scary is he? What a breakout year he's had. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he had a great year. I've played with him the past 4 years now. Mm-hmm. So just to be able to see him grow and just kind of step into that role of being like the guy, you kind of see it in college and stuff, and the NFL's different, but just to see it like from him, I'm real happy for him. I've been through a lot with that guy, so he's like a brother to me, and I'm just happy to see him pay off for him.
I was talking to Jared Allen, future Hall of Famer, like Vikings great, just about how he was, I guess, at camp in August, like helping out the pass rush and all this. Like y'all, nobody, I don't even think that made huge news. Like that's how slept on this entire team is.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was cool because he'd like be in meetings and stuff. And like, obviously, I'm not in those meetings, but like, I'd walk past him and like, I'd be like, oh, dang. But
that's insane.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like, I remember being there at camp and I was like walking down the hallway and like Steve Atwater is just like, what up? Hey, Kay. And I'm like, what goes on here? Do you feel that? Like, I remember when I was there and in that the indoor facility, there's so much greatness to that organization. How heavy is that? Like you walk out of the locker rooms and you're like, oh, I felt like Shannon and oh man, like it's heavy.
Yeah, it's real heavy. I mean, even like sometimes Peyton comes around. Last year, John Elway would pop up a good amount of times. Steve's basically there all the time. And it's funny because we had like I forgot what they called it, but it was like a Christmas shopping with kids and the Broncos. Like we had the alumni there and like Ed McCaffrey's there, Rod Smith's up there. Like we're just chatting up. And I'm looking at these guys like, dang, like y'all are like Broncos legends. Like it's so cool to like be sitting here talking to y'all. But yeah, I mean, the alumni there is great. And then the history and all that stuff, it speaks for itself.
People are handing out these all pros and it's awards season. You're focused on the playoff, that's all you're focused on. But I mean, Pat Surtain, you got a couple on your team that might. What's it like at practice against him?
Yeah, I mean, Pat is just a crazy like football player. I mean, honestly, like he's just
out
there.
What does that mean? What is this face you're making?
He's literally like a silent killer. Like he won't say much. He won't do anything crazy. But like if you're lined up against him, like I mean, you're seeing like the best corner, especially in training camp. Like you're seeing the best corner every day. Like it's honestly the coolest thing. And like some of the stuff he does, like when you watch his film, like it doesn't make any sense. And then like sometimes you'll like ask him about it and he'll be like, oh, I just like thought that you were doing this. So I just, moved my hips that way, did this that way. It's just like
give me an
stuff.
example. You never see it. What is it that makes him?
Like you can be running like a 18-yard out and like say you get to like 10 yards and maybe from like the rest of the play, but Pat will literally just like stop. Like he won't even backpedal anymore.
It's so scary.
Like he'll just stop and like just sit on your hip and just like see wherever way you take him.
Go kick Buffalo's ass. Go have a good time. Well, I got it. We were talking to Sproles and I said, how can they get this done? And he said, keep them off the field.
Yeah.
Keep them off the So go do your thing. Thanks, Marv.
For sure. Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
Goofy.